Good morning and welcome to Hound Deer's Club on this beautiful day. I hope that you had a great weekend, watched the PGA Championship and enjoyed that. Today is the second part of our 5-part series in the game of golf. Last week we talked about the putt and stroke, which is typically the shortest motion in the game of golf. The next motion that gets a little bigger will be the chip-in and pitch-in motion. And it's a little bigger version of the putt and stroke. So we'll first talk about the setup and some of the nice attributes that we have in the short game. Usually when we have a short game setup, we want the club to become shorter than normal, which means we choke down on the club. The other thing is we will bring our stance in a bit more narrow, and we'll put our weight on our lead foot. So it's not a bad idea in most of the shots that we hit in the short game to set our weight on our lead foot, in my case my left leg. And when we do that, we might have a small amount of a forward lean. What I don't want to see in the short game is a golfer that's leaning on their back foot. They have this type of tilt. I would much rather see the sensation or even the feeling of the left shoulder being a bit lower than the right shoulder. And the way we do that is by setting our weight on our left side, making sure we don't play the ball too far back in the stance. And then, how do we make the motion? Well, some of the commonalities of a successful motion is going to be, again, whatever we achieve on the back end, we make the same effective motion on the forward end. So once again, one becomes the other. Now in the short game, we stay on our left side, we move the club away with bigger muscles. We still want enough softness in the hands, but the hands are not good motivators of the club. They usually are not going to be good motivators of the club to grab the grip away from the club. It'll be better off when we use bigger muscles with soft hands. So if we have bigger muscles with soft hands and we move the club away from the ball, say this position, on our forward motion, we simply unturn that motion. So we're not just trying to swat our arms forward. All we're doing is we're moving the club away, we are turning the club through, and they both feel the same. So a couple of things in the short game is we're usually looking for minimum air time, maximum roll time. So what does that mean? Well, Nick Faldo brought it up yesterday on the 18th hole when Patrick Reed was chipping up to the green, and he took a high lofted club. Hit a great shot, but it had a lot of spin on it and did not release. Nick Faldo was just all excited about it and said he should have used a lower lofted club. And if he had done that, then it more than likely would have run out. It would have been much closer and could have made that par on the last hole. So I actually have in my hand an 8-iron. This is likely a similar shot that Patrick Reed had yesterday. And so I take this 8-iron and get my weight on my left side. I let one motion become another. Not a bad little outcome. Get that one a little bit firm. The ability to get the ball up into the air is pretty much allowing the loft of the club to do it. We're not trying to help a ball up into the air. On the back motion, I may create a little bit of an upward angle. On the forward motion, it simply falls out of that upward angle. So here we go. I'll try it again, a little less effort. Not all bad. So, minimum air time, maximum roll time is a great thing to achieve. If I needed to hit the ball higher, if I had something that I had to fly over then it may be time now to start taking more loft, a sand wedge, which I have here. Sometimes it can be the L wedge. And then one of the things that comes up is, what's the difference between a chip shot and a pitch shot? I don't know that the technique changes that much. The swing likely gets a little bit longer in a pitch shot motion. Conversely, we may end up getting a little more hinge, natural hinge of the club, but all it is a longer version of the shorter motion that I just made. So if it was type of shot that I had to hit more of a lofted shot, then all I would do is I would have the same basic setup. I may start using a little longer swing, and on the forward motion, all I do is turn out of that swing, and then I have more loft in the shot. So, some of the common pitfalls that I see in being able to do this well are thinking that if I can keep my eye on the ball, keep my head down, and hit at the golf ball, that's a good thing to achieve. Reality is, what I should become good at is maintaining whatever height I established at address. I should become good at moving the club away in front of me. One of the big errors I see is when I see a club come too much to the inside. So when we talk about moving the club in front of a golfer, this is the front of me, and I have a club in front of me. With this club position, I have the ability to let the club fall onto the golf ball. Fall onto the golf ball. That's very important. And as that club is falling onto the golf ball, I am simply rotating my body minutely. Okay, so it's not a big aggressive rotation. It's just the rotation of the body as the arms are falling. So commonly, when I see somebody doing something opposite of that, I will see their head go to the golf ball, and I will see the club head come to the head. So it's kind of that motion. And when you see that motion, it's not going to be an effective motion. Effective motion is maintenance of height, letting the club fall on the ball, and as we do that, allowing the body to rotate. So some other generalities are, again, do not grab the grip and try to thrust the arm forward. Because a lot of times I think people think that they have to become good at controlling the follow through, gauging their pace or their outcome with the follow through, when the reality is the people that are good at it are doing nothing more than gauging their effort on the backswing. That's the swing itself. There just doesn't happen to be anything to hit on a backswing. So once you make a backswing, the forward swing is a duplication of that effort. You really should not try to do it by grabbing the grip, nor thrust the arms forward. So one of the things that I want you to see in this next motion that I make, that is a commonality of great outcomes or great swings, see it a lot on TV, I'll try to do it here, is you will see this relationship. You'll see the grip handle go this way and the club head stay on line to the target. So what's really happening there? The only thing that's happening is the body's rotating, the grip handle goes with the body, and the club stays on line to the target as long as probable or as long as possible. The club head cannot stay perfectly on line to a target if we're doing this correctly. So if you are attempting to put a club behind a ball, take your hands and try to make a club go in line perfectly to a target, then you're not making the correct motion. Correct motions, particularly on the follow-through, the grip handle will turn as the body turns, and the club head will stay on line to the target. So I have a grip handle over here, and the club head as much on line to the target as possible. So every now and then I have fun with the student, and I'll say, well, let's learn how to do what Chi Rodriguez did quite frequently in his game of golf. Chi was really good at making swings and putting the club in a holster. So it was almost like it was his sword. So if you make the proper follow through in the short game, you would be able to put the club in the holster. If you make an improper follow through, you likely won't be able to do it. So what are the improper follow throughs? One of them would be this: thinking that you can swing the club perfectly on line to a target with your hands. I cannot put the club in the holster over here when I do that. The other improper follow through is throwing the arms across the body. So if I try to do that and I throw my arms across my body, the club is way over here, cannot put it in the holster. The proper follow through, it's just a motion. It's not trying to do something in perfection, but the proper follow through, I can do that all day long. So take these tips, think about them, see if there's anything that resonates with you that might be something that you could do a little bit better. And we look forward to seeing you next time when we will go into the full swing, and hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you.